Hi everyone, Gemma here. Thank you for watching today. So I've got two cards of similar styles, and they're both using the same supplies, but one is an easel and just pops up like so. I think they're so cute. I'll just hold this one up closer to the camera so you can see all that lovely detail. And the bunny one, these pattern papers and the hot air balloon, just so lovely together. I've used vellum and white cardstock there to create the clouds in the background, and you can see that gorgeous pattern paper peeking through. So this one's the top folding card. So the top folding card on top of a side folding card. So two cards in one. You could just use the acetate piece to create your card. So a smaller 4x6 card there, or you can do as I've done and add it to a larger card base. So let's get started. So I'll quickly go through the supplies with you and then we get straight into the tutorial. So I'm using the paper pad from Paper Discovery. This is from the Movers and Shakers collection. Some really lovely pattern papers there. Then to create the clouds and the hot air balloon, I've used the Studio Light hot air balloon. It's got some really lovely dies in here, and I've used this in a previous make. So you've got these different cloud dies that I've cut several of. You've got all the elements to create the hot air balloon. The edge die there to create the clouds, and then this sort of stitched die that I've used just to help me create this sort of edge that I'm using for each side of the card. For the sentiment on the bunny card, I've got the My Creative Life Festive Animal Antics, and this is the Festive Fun Sentiments. Then for the I Love You, again from My Creative Life, and it's the Fun Love stamp set. And then for the bunny and the bear, I've used the Movers and Shakers Tags Cute die set. So as I said at the start of the video, we're using the same supplies and creating similar cards, but they're going to look sort of completely different. So I'm going to concentrate on the bunny card first. So I'm just going to pop everything for the other card to one side, and I'll just talk you through the measurements and then we'll start to assemble everything. For my card base, I have a 5x7 card blank. You can use shop bought or cut your own. I've cut my own, so I've cut a piece of 10x7 along the 10-inch side, score 5, and then you've got your card base. I've got some mats and layers then, so I've used just white cardstock and I've used some Distress Oxide just to colour the border. I wanted to match this lovely pattern paper, and I didn't have the right colour cardstock in my stash, so if you're ever sort of stuck and you haven't got the right colour, just use some smooth white cardstock and you can dye that with your ink pads. So this measures 4.5 by 6.5, so that's going to sit just on the top there. I've then got a piece of black cardstock that measures 4.25 by 6.25, and all these measurements sort of apply to the both. On the second card, there's just an additional score line. I've then got a piece of acetate that measures 12 by 4. Along the 12-inch side, I've scored at 6, and this is going to sit on the front like so. I've trimmed down my pattern paper to 4x6, and that's going to attach on the back end of the acetate. And then to sit on the front, I've got these clouds to go either side there. the hot air balloon, and then because this will be functioning and you can open that up, when you see the acetate from behind, you're going to see the adhesive. So it's up to you if you want to leave that as it is, but I've gone ahead and cut an additional white panel that will sit on the inside, so you can't see it from the front, but it'll hide all that adhesive. To create the clouds, I've just used some vellum. So I've got 2 pieces there and a white piece on the front. I've popped the layers up onto some foam just to give that bit of dimension, and they're going to go on the front there. So what I may do is cut an additional circle that will sit behind the hot air balloon and go inside here, so you could have a hidden message. So you've got a card on top of a card, basically. So you can have a message or something, or a gift voucher or something hidden inside there, and then you've also got the space inside to write your message. So I've gone ahead and attached the mats and layers on the front of the card. I've also added red tape on the pattern paper and on the back of the acetate. So first of all, I'm just going to add the pattern paper on the inside. So I'm just going to expose some of the adhesive on the panel here, just so I can line this up, and then I'll remove the rest and I'll line it up that way. Now I'm going to attach these panels, and then I'll add it to the card front. So there's my layers now attached front and back. I'm going to next pop this onto my card base, and then lastly I'm going to add the hot air balloon. If you haven't got 12 by 12 acetate, you could cut a piece of 6.5 by 4 along the 6.5 inch side, score half an inch, and you can just have sort of a tab there to attach to your card front. I just wanted to have the whole piece, because sometimes, well, this paper is quite thin and you may see where the acetate is on the cardstock. You'll have sort of like a bit of a ridge there, but it's entirely up to you. Work with what you have. And then lastly, I'm just popping the bunny towards the right hand side. This card is very top heavy, so I am going to add some additional mats and layers on the inside just to balance that out and help it stand up better. So I'll probably cut a piece of 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 in black, and then a piece of 4.5 by 6.5, and just pop that inside then. On to card number 2. So mats and layers are exactly the same for the pink and black there, so they'll go on the front. The only difference with the acetate is there's an additional score line in here, so I've scored it at 1 1/4. So I'm going to turn this into an easel front card. Usually you sort of do it at the halfway point, because I wanted to hide the score line behind the cloud there. I've made this section a lot shorter. So the pattern paper is going to sit inside the acetate as I did with the previous card. The clouds will be placed in the same position, but this will stand up on the front there, and the balloon will be attached just on the left hand side on that one. So I'm going to go ahead now and attach all of my pieces. So I've attached everything now to the card base. So it folds down flat and you can pop that in the envelope. You're going to have quite a bit of bulk with mine because I've added the layers up onto some foam. You could probably get away with a bouncy envelope on that one. So the idea is to have it, the card base flat, and then you fold this up for the easel part. If I just hold that up, so this is the view you will have then from the front. I think it looks really sweet. So I've brought back in the other cards. You've got them both side by side there. As I said at the start of the video, same supplies, two different cards. They look very similar, but obviously this one is sort of a top folding card on the front there. I've added mats and layers on the inside, so it's not sort of top heavy and it stands unaided. If you can create a top folding 5x7 card, I'd advise that. I didn't really think ahead with that one. And then this one is obviously flat and stands up like so. I hope you've enjoyed the video from me today. If you have, please hit the like button, leave a comment, or consider subscribing to the channel. If you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. As I mentioned at the start, any of the products used in today's video will be listed in the description box below. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.